Assalamu alaikum friends. Have you ever heard that many similar products in the market which seems to be competitors of each others are owned by same company? Yes, it is true. Many big companies do it for a number of reasons, like to target more audience, to have a wider share in the market, and even to make it difficult for other companies to enter the market. In this way, they earn maximum amount of revenue. In short, whether you buy M&M's, Kit Kat or Snickers, profit will go to Nestle. Today we are going to discuss 3 of the largest food chains in the world owned by same company. And maybe it's hard to believe that KFC, Pizza Hut and Taco Bell all are owned by a same company named Yum. So in this video, we will see how they acquired these food giants, along with their histories and their relationship with Pepsi company. So let's get started. Initializing with Pizza Hut. Pizzas were not very popular in America before 1950s. One could find pizza parlors only near Italian communities. Then in 1958, an agent met two brothers, Dan and Frank Carney, and convinced them to open a pizza shop in an unrented building. Brothers didn't know much about pizzas, but still decided to give it a try. During this time, they met John Bender, who was a former worker in pizzeria in Indiana. They took him in the plan, and now it was time for execution. So brothers borrowed $600 from their mother for initial setup and rent of the building. Then there came the part to name their pizza parlor. You know what is it? But there are two interesting reasons behind naming it Pizza Hut. Firstly, their small square-shaped building looked like a hut, and secondly, they had a signboard which had room only for 8 letters, and Pizza Hut perfectly fitted in it. During this, their another mate Richard Deemer joined the company, and this team of 4 bought an oven from an Italian restaurant, and very soon they started their business on an area of less than 600 square feet. They offered free pizzas on the opening night because they knew that the taste would pull people again and again, and this actually happened as Pizza Hut became really popular among teenagers and university students, and this popularity made them to open another branch within 6 months, and in an year they started franchising their business, and in 1966 they had 145 franchises, and they grew so much that Pizza Hut expanded internationally in Canada, Germany, Australia, Japan and Great Britain by mid-70s. It's time to pause Pizza Hut's story. We will link it with a part later in this video. Now let's see how KFC become finger-licking good. Colonel Sanders, whose real name was Harland Sanders, had a tragic childhood because his father died when he was just 6 years old. So to make a living, he did many jobs and businesses with mixed success. He worked as a cook in early ages, practiced law, started a ferry boat business, an oil lamp business, a motel, a cafe, but all these businesses failed. Then in 1930, he bought a gas station from Shell, but purchasing it during the Great Depression wasn't a good idea, and that's the reason why Shell sold it. He opened a cafe in the station, which became quite popular. Especially his fried chicken made him a local celebrity, and the governor of the place made him honorary colonel. This was his first significant success. Until 1952, he perfected the fried chicken recipe with 11 spices and decided to franchise the recipe. So he franchised it to Pete Harmon, who had a restaurant near Salt Lake City. He is the man behind the name Kentucky Fried Chicken and the slogan Finger Licking Good. By 1956, he franchised 6 restaurants, but then a highway route was designed which was passing through his restaurant, so he was forced to sell it. By then, he was 65 years old and left with only $105 per month. Then he decided to tour America and franchise his recipe. During this tour, he was rejected 1009 times before getting his first franchise, and then he never looked back. Till 1960, he had 200 franchises, and only in 3 years, this number grew to 600, and KFC became the largest food chain of that time. Again, we are stopping the story here to link it later, and now let's see the story of Taco Bell. After facing horrors of World War II, Glenn Bell needed to start something for a living. He decided to follow his passion of cooking, so he sold a refrigerator in his house to buy a hot dog stand. Those days, McDonald's was getting popular, and he also wanted to do something like that. So he started doing odd jobs to save some money. Then his family moved to California, and he set up his cart there. Near his stand, there was a Mexican restaurant named Mitla Cafe, which was so popular for tacos that it was filled with customers all the time. Glenn wondered what's so special in their hard-shell tacos that made them so popular. And to find out, he became their regular customer and close friend of the owner. The owner then told him the recipe of their tacos, and he added it in his cart menu, which became instantly popular. And in an year, he opened 2 more taco places in California, which also became really successful. But in both restaurants, he was just a minor shareholder. So he sold his shares and opened his own restaurant named Taco Bell in 1962. This was again successful on commercial level, and in 1964 he got his first franchise, and within an year he had a chain of 100 restaurants. Now here's the part where all three stories meet, and that part is Pepsico, not Pepsi drinks but the parent company, which had too many brands and companies under acquisition at that time. They accurately predicted the future of restaurant industry, that it would run on franchise system, and the same thing is happening now. Based upon their prediction, they started acquiring as many popular franchises as they could. So they also acquired these three companies. They got Pizza Hut in 1977 for $460 million, Taco Bell in 1978 for $125 million, and KFC was a private company, and before PepsiCo acquired it, it had three different owners, and they got it in 1986 for $860 million. Then in 1997, PepsiCo decided to make a separate company for their restaurant business, so they formed Tricon Global Restaurants, a new company. As soon as they launched, the restaurant saw huge success as they introduced new menus and products. In 2002, they changed their name to Yum brand, and since then they are doing great job as all three restaurants are still globally recognized. Recently in 2020, they acquired another restaurant chain called Habit Grill Burgers for $375 million. And with these four brands, they are ruling restaurant market with 55,000 restaurants in 155 countries and territories. And now it's time to end the video. If you want to know how Elon Musk saved Tesla and SpaceX at the same time, you can click here. And thank you very much for watching.